This is a second video about my comic Gnar Wallshire, since ideas for it and what I want to do with it have changed a lot in comparison to what I wanted to do with it 2 months ago. I'll suggest you watch the first video if you want to know more about why I'm making this and kind of my thought process while writing this comic. And if this at all sounds interesting to you, then simply join my Discord server linked in the description and on my channel and DM me. From there I'll probably invite you to another server that has a majority of what's already finished and a lot of other stories that I made. What is Gnar Wallshire? Assuming you didn't watch the original video about my comic, Gnar Wallshire is a slow, heavily dialogue-focused drama about a 17-year-old kid named Gnar who's not only confused about his sexuality, but also ends up dating a weird 25-year-old man named Arthur because of it. That's the basis of what the story is, though there are a lot of other elements to it, like everything Arthur went through and the focus on Gnar's feelings throughout the story. For example, how long will it be? The story will be 3 chapters long with 3 parts in each one. Currently, I'm in the middle of making chapter 2 part 3, so the story is nearing its final act within the rough draft. Outside of the planned 3 parts, there are a few unplanned bonus parts that, while mostly unnecessary to understanding what's going on in the story at large, give more insight into Arthur's character and his weird relationship with his roommate, who he hates, and better understanding as to why he's the horrible person he is. Again, these parts aren't 100% needed to understand the story at large, but they are made as canon short sections with that intention in mind that wouldn't work as standalone chapters on their own, especially since Gnar is the main focus and MC of the comic. After all the events of the comic though, as in when it ends, I'm currently planning for absolutely nothing to be made afterwards. There will be no sequels or spin-offs or anything like that, as I want this to be a single, not too long self-contained story that is rereadable, but ultimately so finished that it wouldn't make any sense for it to go on any longer by the end. Plans. What was going to happen in both chapter 1 and 2 was already planned, and what's happening in chapter 3 has also already been planned too. Each chapter is a very clear arc of what Gnar is going through, and overall, despite the planning, the story is written by what I think should happen next, as opposed to perfect and exact events of what I want to accomplish each page. It's more like, what do I want to do in this chapter? And then by the end, I accomplish my goal and know what I need to do after thinking about it for a long time. This is why a lot of smaller ideas, like the narrator being prevalent in the start and the idea of each animal species representing a race, have slowly been discarded, as most of the story is written with planned writing as I go, which is also why after this rough draft is finished, I'll be going through a lot of it and mostly doing tweaks to make sure everything makes sense with my final vision and with the changes I want implemented into my story. A thing that would have been impossible if I didn't get any criticism or if this was intended from the start to be the final version. When will it be public? This story won't be public for a very long time. I still have to tweak a lot of things mechanically with the story as I've stated, but also dialogue wise and pacing wise at some parts. This story overall, despite being near chapter 3, is in its infancy, all things considered. I have no idea when or where exactly I'll be releasing this story, possibly on some kind of custom website or some webcomic site like Webtoon. Right now, the only way to check this out is if I either send it to you or invite you to my story server, where I have almost all of the story in a Discord channel. From there, if you're interested, you can read the rough draft of my story and give me direct feedback through my DMs. Goal. My overall goal with the story is to make it genuinely interesting and sort of relatable to a certain extent to people reading. I want people to easily understand the point of everything happening and what exactly is going on, with very occasional vague implications or short mentions of things that'll be important later. My biggest goal with this story though is that it'll be engaging to pretty much everyone who'd be interested in an idea executed like this. I can only do that with constructive criticism of my writing though, so again, if you're interested in checking out my story, join my server and DM me. It's not ready to go public yet, and this is the only way I feel fine about sharing what I think is my best story, despite it just being a rough draft right now. It's definitely flawed in quite a few areas, and I know that, but I really want more opinions from those interested. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and for real this time, I probably won't make another video about my comic unless my ideas change a lot again, or maybe even when it's finished.